It's live.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the day number 13 of the SunnahCamp live training by kids for kids. We are so excited to be having you guys here today. So we hope you guys are just as excited as we are. Just a reminder that check out the links in the description box down below if you're watching us on YouTube. We've got all our social medias on there. We've also got the registration link if you wanted to come join us on Zoom. So all of that is down there. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias because we've got all of this content coming, and then also join us on Zoom because we love interacting with you guys, and Zoom has a different feel than everyone else. Than everything else. So yeah, I'm gonna now pass the mic off to the Mia sisters, the three best friends of SunnahCamp, and they're going to be talking to us about the next three names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Assalamu alaikum, we are here.
Welcome to day 13 of learning and memorizing the beautiful 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Let's get started. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbana zidni ilma.
رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. The names we are learning today are Al-Hafid,
Al-Muqit,
and Al-Hasib.
Today we have reached 40 names. Subhanallah and Alhamdulillah. Can't wait to continue the rest of this journey, inshallah.
Let's begin. Al-Hafid is the protector or the guardian. Hafida means to keep guard or to preserve and take care of or watch over something. So it comes from hifd, which means to remember and be attentive towards something, to know and look after something and not be negligent. Like when someone is hafid of the Quran, it means that, that person has memorized the Quran, so they know it, but not only that, they are attentive towards the Quran and they work to preserve it so that they can remember it continuously. So hifd is to preserve something from perishing or becoming lost, or working to preserve something so that you don't forget it. Like preserving the Quran in your memory so you don't forget it, and being attentive towards what you have memorized. And hifd also means to diligently guard or protect and maintain something. So this is a very active verb. Hifd means that you're constantly attentive, constantly mindful, and you are using your powers and abilities to assure that whatever it may be that you're guarding or protecting is safe and secure. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Hafid. He is the protector, the guardian, and the preserver. He protects the creation from the very beginning and continues to do so until the very end. So from the moment that we are born until our time is over in this dunya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always protecting and watching over us. He is the protector, the keeper, and guardian over everything, not just a few things. He is so perfect, powerful, merciful, knowledgeable that he guards and he protects and he preserves everything, every little thing. He's also given us the ability of self-preservation. So we've learned instinctually how to preserve and how to take care of ourselves. And we've learned how to do certain things that initially help us to make life easier, like walking, talking. It's like instinct, basically. We grow into it eventually. Al-Hafid is the one who guards and protects what he has created, and his knowledge has perfectly encompassed what he has brought into existence. He knows the needs of each of his creation because he is the one who brought it into existence. Therefore, he knows how to take care of it according to his knowledge for what he knows is best for the creation. At times, we forget things that we have bought or things that we've owned. Or, sometimes we simply buy something, but we misplaced it and we can't find it, whatever it is that we bought. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is Al-Khaliq, He is Al-Alim, He is Al-Khabir. He knows everything. He does not forget any one of his creatures or creations. But not only that, He is Al-Latif. He knows even that which they hide. He knows the struggles, the circumstances, the conditions, everything about his creation. So who best fit to preserve his creation than the one who best knows them? The beautiful thing is that he doesn't even feel burdened or tired. So many times we try to overwork ourselves and we try to take care and do so many things at once. And at the end, we get so overwhelmed and tired. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is higher. He is Al-Ali. He is higher and he is above that. He is preserving everything that's on this earth, but he doesn't feel burdened or tired. He protects us by ways that are beyond our knowledge and awareness. Like just within our body, our brain, everything, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preserving and protecting and helping it function properly. And this is just one of many examples. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is preserving and protecting us in ways that we can't even imagine. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, preserve the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Allah will preserve you. But remember, these things are only safe and protected for however long Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to be protected for. At any given moment, our time on earth can be gone, and that would be it for us. It is all under His control. He is watchful of His creation. And this name of Allah is also mentioned in the Quran 3 times.
Al-Muqit, the sustainer. From the verb qata, to nourish, feed, or to sustain, qut is any substance which is suitable as food. He is the nourisher of all creations. Allah creates the nourishment of each of His creatures before He creates them. No one can take the nourishment destined for each of His creations He has created. Al-Muqit protects and sustains His living beings. In this sense, this name is strongly related to Al-Hafid, the preserver, which we learned previously. He does not only sustain our bodies with provisions like food and drinks, but Al-Muqit also, for example, sustains the heart through knowledge. Sustaining us is even more specific than the attribute of providing for us, Ar-Razak, which we also previously learned. Al-Muqit hears the silent dua and responds to it, and knows your affliction and is the only one who can remove it and who removes it. Call upon Al-Muqit using this beautiful name to ask to sustain your body with provisions and fill your heart with knowledge of Islam. Only seek the fulfillment of all of your wishes and desires from Him. Only Al-Muqit holds the keys to the treasures of His sustenance. I know a lot of us have been online shopping more and more because of COVID. And so have you ever been looking at something and finally decide to buy it? And then all of a sudden it's out of stock? Well, that is because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's qadr. He is Al-Muqit. He gives us what He wants. He takes what He wants with His wisdom. Whatever is written for you will reach you even if it is between two mountains. And whatever is not written for you will not reach you even if it is as close as your two lips. This name is used in the Quran one time, in Surah Fussilat, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about how He has even blessed the tall mountains that you see, and He is sustaining them and keeping them in place.
The name Al-Hasib means the sufficient or the accountant, and it comes from muhasaba, which means to take accountability of your own actions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is sufficient for His slave, and He is also the one who calls us into account for our actions and our deeds, whether that's good or bad. We learn in the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sufficient is Allah as Hasib. He is the one who will hold people accountable. Allah is enough as Hasib. He is enough to hold people accountable, and only He has the power and authority to do that. Everything we do, whether that's good or bad, Allah is taking everything into account, every little thing. Now, before we get more into the name, I'm going to share a hadith which relates to this name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it carries a very important lesson, so take note of this. Once there was a man who really began praising another man on his face. Like he was just continuously praising this other man directly in front of him, in front of his face. So the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that you have broken the neck of your brother. And obviously he didn't actually like literally break the neck of the other man, but this basically means that when you praise someone to their face, you are actually working like against them in a way, because your praise may corrupt their intentions. They begin to think more highly of themselves. They begin to think that they're perfect, that they don't need room for improvement, that they're not flawed, they're just perfect. There is a limit to praising. So don't glorify someone else to their face. And then the Prophet ﷺ said that if one of you must praise his brother, so if one of you must praise someone else to their face, then you should say, أحسب كذا وكذا, meaning I think such and such. So acknowledge them by using the phrase I think. So you can say, I think you've been working really hard, or I think, I don't know, I think you've nailed the presentation. Do not pass an absolute judgment that you are the best, or you're like this or that. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَحَسِيبُ اللَّهِ, that his hasib is actually Allah, meaning Allah is the only one who has the right to give and to declare the final judgment on people. We can't label and we can't make the final calls. So we should strive to please Allah, not people. Only He can hold you accountable, because only He knows the reality of people. He sees, He hears, He knows what you don't and what you can't. Sometimes we think that what we are doing is not enough. But remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Hasib. He takes everything into account. When a person recites even like one letter from the Quran, just one letter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala rewards them with 10 hasanat. 10 rewards are given to that person just for reading one letter, not even a full ayah. So we are getting that reward, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is keeping that into account because He keeps everything into account. This also means that He takes into account even those wrongful things that we did, those sins that we've committed, those small things that we did. And I know we repeat this a lot, but even those things that you did in private, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken even that into account and putting that on your record. He is the one who takes account of all and everything that His creation does or is subjected to. So before bed, we should think that what have we done today to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And what have we done to displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And inshallah, if Allah allows us to live the next day, we will improve ourselves and more importantly, ask for forgiveness for the sins that we have committed. This name is also in the Quran 3 times. Now it's time for star students. So today we wanted to recognize 2 of our star students.
Woohoo! Time for star students.
So Ikra, do you want to announce the star students?
This week's star students are Zayan Anjum and Rumesa Arshad. Good job, everyone. Rumesa is from Rising Star and Zayan is from Sunshine, and they have both been coming on live on Zoom almost every single day. So everyone, give a big congrats to both Zayan and Rumesa. You both have done a fantastic job, mashallah. Great job. Keep it up.
Mashallah.
Woohoo! Are you guys here right now, Zayan and Rumesa? You guys can say hello. Or type in the chat. And also type in the chat what you guys learned today.
The chocolate kale. Yeah, out.
Is Ikra not there?
Wow, that was such an awesome class, to me and sisters. I was honestly I don't know which name stood out to me the most, because honestly all of them pretty much stood out to me. But I think Al-Hafid was one of them, the protector / guardian, how he is the protector, keeper, and guardian of everything. So it's so great because like we don't need to worry. Of course, there's things that are our responsibility, but like there's things that we know that he preserves, and that's something that's just honestly so amazing, subhanAllah. But the one thing, I think it was Michelle that said it, or Ikra that said it, that stood out was that he had given us the skill of self preservation, and that's true. Like the way we've been able to live for thousands and thousands of years, subhanAllah, is because of the skill that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us to be able to preserve ourselves. Because you might be thinking like we were just like put on this earth, but how did we know? It was a skill that we were given. So that's definitely a really, really this cool detail that I picked up. And also something that at the end that was mentioned, that at the end of the day we should reflect, what did I do that made Allah happy, and what are some of the things I did that didn't make Allah happy? Because like, let's face it, everything that we do, all of us, anything that we do, there's probably something also not great in that thing that you've done. So to reflect is honestly such an amazing thing, and journaling is one of those things that can really help you with that, to reflect on your day. And there's so many journals out there that you can find, but it just allows you to reflect on your day and really take some action steps, because you're writing it down, and what you write down it's easier to hold yourself accountable in that sense. So if you're interested in getting a journal, I definitely recommend it. But now I'm going to pass the mic off to Khadija, and she is going to be just talking to us and giving us an amazing PowerPoint of how Allah made everything.
Assalamu alaikum.
Laksa, you should be able to share your screen right now.
Okay, let me do that. Okay. Can you see?
Yep, we can.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Today we're doing Allah Loves You. Before we get started, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma. Okay. We are the slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not the servants. Servants come to work for a few hours and then leave, but a slave is a slave for 24/7. So who's going to set the terms? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he is the boss. Relationships and their terms. In different relationships, there are terms. For example, a teacher and a student. The teacher is the one who we are supposed to listen to and who we're supposed to obey. The student is not the one who sets the terms. They don't say, oh, today I will come to study at this time, or I want to do this and that, do they? It's the teacher who plans the lesson, and it's the teacher who decides what to do. It's the same thing with a parent and their child. The parent is the boss, so the parent will decide what time you go to bed, or what chores you do today, and even how much pocket money you'll get each week. The child can't just say, I have decided to raise my monthly allowance, or today I will do no chores. Then there is the boss and the worker. The boss and the worker both have different positions. The worker doesn't come to the boss and say, you need to finish this, this, and this today. No, it's the boss who tells the worker that this needs to be done. Now, as you must have noted, in all these cases, the terms are set by the one in authority. In the same way, in the relationship between humans and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the terms are set by Allah as he is in authority. And we are his slaves. We are his slaves, so he will tell us what to do and when. So we can't say, I don't want to do this, I should be doing this instead. That's not right. We can't dictate, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who will dictate. The chosen ones. You are so blessed that you are the chosen ones. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen us to be his slaves from this very young age. If we weren't Muslims, we wouldn't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it would take time for us to convert and learn about Islam. Or maybe we would have died as non-Muslim and never truly find the path of Islam. So it's such a big blessing that we've been born into a Muslim family. Now that we've realized that we're the chosen ones, we should strive to be the best. As Muslim youth, it's our duty to be the best son or daughter, the best student, or even the best sports person. What I mean to say is, whatever we try to do, we should be the best in that field. You are special. You need to realize that you're special, because the earlier we realize it, the more we will enjoy it. Because it is truly amazing to be special in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you might ask, what is the proof? Well, the proof is that He's chosen you to be a Muslim. So what is a slave in Islam? Now, I want you guys to understand why I'm saying slave and not servant. Generally, slave is an offensive term. Slavery to anyone but Allah is humiliation, but slavery to Allah is actually a huge honor. It's actually freedom. Also, you can't really think of any title in the world that someone can give you that's lower than slave, but it's not the case, because in Islam you're humbled. Slavery in Islam isn't the slavery we all know of. That slavery that happened a couple hundred years ago was inhumane, whereas slavery in Islam is slaves in Islam are treated with utmost respect, and they're treated like humans, and they're given a choice. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't need us. We need Allah. Everything we do now determines our future. This life is nothing compared to the eternity planned ahead. It's what we do now, our choices, that decide what we want our forever to be, whether that be the endless luxury and peace of Jannah, or to be lost in the unimaginable agony of hell. If you think you can't find time to read Quran or do namaz or anything, when you think maybe later because I'm in the middle of watching TV right now or something, then think again, because these worldly joys will eventually cease to exist. When we die, we will carry nothing but our deeds, and you need to decide whether you want more good deeds or bad deeds to go with you, because no amount of worldly riches or titles can save you on the Day of Judgment. Only you and how you have spent this limited time Allah granted you can. So my point being, save yourself, be the best you can be, engrave the very essence of Islam into your heart, and become worthy of Allah's love and blessings. Now, I'm not trying to tell you to be perfect, because we aren't perfect. We can't expect to be perfect either. No one can be, but it's not a bad thing. Even the prophets were not perfect. They were innocent and the best amongst us humans, as perfect as a human can really get, but still not completely perfect. Everyone has their flaws, everyone has their secrets, and everyone makes mistakes, and we can't expect anything different of anyone. Yes, some people can be better than others, but that doesn't make them perfect, because only Allah is perfect. Even though you can't be perfect, you should still strive to be a good person, because Jannah is not for perfect people, but it's for the people who are good at heart and who try to be the best they can possibly be, and for those Muslims that never give up when things get tough. The more you try to be better now, the more reward you will get in the long run. Humans are fallible. We are not immune to sin. We are not angels who are the sin-free beings. We are humans. We are faulty and we do sin. We have a choice, and shaitan can influence us in a bad way. And that is what we have to avoid at all costs. So may Allah accept our efforts, count us in His favorite slaves, and help us to be the best version of ourselves. Thank you.
I mean, wow, that was such a powerful presentation, Khadija. And it was very moving on the way that you presented it, mashallah. It is very true. Jannah isn't for the perfect people, because obviously the perfect person doesn't exist, and the most perfect people were the prophets. But yeah, it's a moving thing to understand that, you're right, slavery, especially what we've seen in recent events, I guess, it's not obviously what's the good thing. It's not that what we're saying that is the type of slave that we are, but instead, when we are slaves to Allah, we worship Him and we do it out of our love. So that's definitely something that to keep in mind, and a really good thing I think they need clarified, because I think some people might be confused if they saw that. But yeah, thank you for the clarification, and thank you for just an amazing in-depth presentation. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, please go comment down below what stood out to you guys in today's presentation, whether it was one of the names that the Mia sisters taught or something that Khadija mentioned in her PowerPoint. definitely go ahead and insert that into the comment section down below. And yeah, inshallah.